Hi, how's it going?
It's alright.
It's all right.
We're listening to Disney and you watch your stuff.
Oh, fun.
I'm gonna see. Okay, the soundtrack is good, but the movie is absolutely terrible.
Little Mermaid?
Yes.
What?
She lives this life underwater that's like she's a rising princess to like Poseidon dude. Oh, she has all this stuff under the sea that's so cool, and she wants to give up everything that she has to go after this one man that she saw one time.
Yeah, she never even met him. No, I agree with you. I think the movie is good, but I think the plot is questionable.
Ursula, she's a good character.
She is a good character, and she's got the best song.
She's probably the smartest person alive.
I know. It's got plot holes too. I'm like, she can sign her name, but she can't write him a note to be like, I'm that girl that saw you on the beach. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Yeah,
He's smart.
he is smart.
There's all this stuff under the sea, and she just doesn't listen.
She doesn't listen. She's a headstrong 16-year-old.
You're 16.
Yeah.
Oh, we'll see.
I don't know. It's never said. Darling, it's better down where it's wetter. Take it from me. Hi. Just the two of them probably. Hi. Yeah, I started. LeBron's the only one on it though, so I haven't let anybody in yet. He's gonna start talking to me and asking me weird questions. I'll give everybody a minute. Oh, he looks so good. Both of them do. Ah, me either.
It took me forever. Because I'm looking at like a picture and then I'm trying to get it so exact.
Yeah.
Once everyone gets on, we should just start performing underneath. I'll start banging on desks.
I'm down. Up in the sea we go. So many people passing by in the halls today that I don't know. Up in the sunless level. Life is the bubbles under the sea.
Mulan, she is an underrated Disney princess.
I agree. And while it's maybe not historically accurate, I think Pocahontas is a really good movie, and she is an underrated princess.
Yeah.
Native American.
Yeah.
Most of the Disney
Especially Tiana, because she's African American.
Yeah.
Most of the Disney princesses go off to go after this like one man who they like barely know,
Yeah.
and the ones that don't, those movies are underrated
I agree.
because then it's going to become an actual princess and not them big over a man.
Yep. I totally agree with you. Who's your favorite Disney princess, Mr. Nelson? Oh, I knew that. Of course I did.
Only because I watch it every day.
Hey, Miss McClellan.
Hey.
Hey, I gotta tell you a funny story.
Okay.
All right, back in Jacksonville, what was it? I used to go to Jacksonville school. I had to teach a bunch of kids because I got bored how to play cards, like 21 or Texas Hold'em. I got really bored.
Wow.
But these kids didn't know how to play it. So I had to teach.
How old are these kids?
Um,
About how he taught all these kids how to play cards?
Oh,
yeah, I think I was like 13.
you teach 14-year-olds how to gamble? That can't be right.
And it was like near my age. One of them was.
Yeah.
I was bored. I had to teach a bunch of kids how to play cards because, hey, someone got to do it. So I taught these kids how to play cards. I taught them.
I don't know how to play these things.
I taught them how to play Texas Hold'em. Oh, hey, I have an idea. Let's grab all the crappy food from the cafeteria and bet on that. And we all betted. Teacher couldn't say no because we were betting on food, not money. sometimes we win, sometimes I won, sometimes they won, but at the end of the day, we have fun.
Sometimes you lose.
Gotta
I
know
almost got caught one time playing cards.
when to walk away.
You, who
Were you
is
playing cards when you weren't supposed to?
lot of
I'm
background?
confused by that statement.
I was playing Texas Hold'em while I'm not supposed to. We're just gambling.
Oh,
I'm proud of myself. I taught a bunch of little kids how to gamble.
You would be proud of yourself.
well, Chuck E. Cheese teaches you how to gamble if we really think about it. So
You're not wrong. I've been there an
Hey,
age.
man, it's really good.
I
Brings
went there for my
character.
15th birthday. It was great
Miss
still.
McClellan?
Yes.
Business idea possible. Now, what's up with it?
I'm feeling
I
super
think you should
sick
taught them how to
today,
play
so
bridge.
Guys,
I'm like,
Alexis
if you
literally
can't hear
said my
me,
name. Let her talk. Can you say that again?
I'm super sorry, but I'm feeling super sick today, so I'm kind of here to just get my attendance.
Okay. I'm going to introduce a new project today, but you'll probably be able to catch up with it just from Canvas. Like, it's not too hard.
Thank you.
If you have questions, just email me.
Thank
Hope you
you.
feel better.
Why is everyone sick? Because I got a head cold yesterday and now I'm still sick.
I don't know, man. Y'all need to get tested, though.
This is disgusting.
Even if you don't think you have COVID, you should get tested. It's super easy. And now they do the spit test. Last time I did it, I did the spit test, which like is not as uncomfortable as the nasal swab test, but I'm not gonna lie, it takes a long time to get as much spit as they need. Yeah, they need like kind of a lot.
Yeah, and that's how they like do the DNA testing and everything. Like you spit into a tube and then it's like a lot of spit, but it can't be like phlegm because then they're like, oh, that's not the right spit.
Yeah.
Also, for those DNA tests, I'll say just take a gallon of blood.
It can have bubbles in it, but not above like, or not below a certain one. You have to have like actual spit up to a certain point. It's a lot. You know, like rub your cheeks, and the girl told me to think about my favorite food. I was like, I'm not hungry. This is weird. Okay, so yesterday, since I wasn't here, I did mention in class on Tuesday, and I sent you guys an email that your attendance for the day would be dependent on whether you turned in your work or not. And almost no one turned in their work. So almost everyone got marked absent for yesterday.
Hey, I turned that work in.
Yes, you did. I said almost everybody. Calm down. For the record, that is how e-learning days are supposed to work, and you should get used to it now because we're going to have at least one e-learning day per month for the rest of the year. And not just in my class, but in other classes as well. The way that we're supposed to take attendance for those days is who turned in their work, who actually did work. And if you didn't, then that means that you didn't do anything for my class yesterday. So really you weren't present. Now for today, since this was the first time that we were doing this, I am going to give you today as an opportunity to make it up, and you can still turn in your stuff and I'll go back and change your attendance from yesterday. But in the future, I won't do that because we've done it now and we know what's going on and what's expected. So I will wind up giving you some time to work on that. You'll probably have to email it to me rather than submitting it on Canvas because I'm pretty sure I set it to close. I'll double check on that. But the first thing I'm going to do is show you guys the new assignment that we're going to do, which you have quite a while to work on. But this is one of my favorite projects to see what people come up with in this class. Because it's very creative. Let me share my screen with you guys. Okay, Zoom thing, go away. Okay, so I just posted this. It is called Pocasts, which is a pun on podcast, because you're creating a podcast. If you'll notice, it's not due until December 1st, which is the Tuesday that we get back from Thanksgiving. So you have quite a while to work on it. You'll start working on it today. Tomorrow, you probably will not have time to work on it because tomorrow, Mr. Bandiera and I have created a music infusion thing to do tomorrow. So that'll take up our whole class time probably.
Question, who is that?
Mr. Bandiera,
Yeah.
that's the one of the piano teachers.
Oh, okay.
He's real cool. I'll talk more about it tomorrow probably, and again, probably email you about it over the weekend. But Monday, you'll probably have like a very short kind of assignment, like email me this one thing, and then your work will just be to work on the podcasts. But I wanted to give you guys, go ahead, Cece.
Do we have, like, can we do it with other people, or does it have to be our own podcast?
Actually, you can do it with one other person if you choose to, and you don't have to. You can be in pairs or you can be alone. So I want to just go through the assignment with you together so you kind of know what you're doing. Like I said, you can work with one other person if you want to, or you can do it on your own, but you're going to choose an Edgar Allan Poe story other than the ones we've read or listened to or watched in class, which is just Telltale Heart and Fall of the House of Usher. So each group's going to tell me what story they want to do and sign up for it so that everyone does a different story. Lurking. And I gave you this link. Oh, wow. I've opened this.
Is that Randall behind you?
Yeah, that's Randall. So I gave you guys a link to this website that's got a link to all of Edgar Allan Poe's stories. So like you can click on one and read it there. You can kind of look through a few and see what you like, or if you already know that there's one that you've read before that you really like, you can let me know. But each student or pair is going to record a podcast. So you can use the voice function on GarageBand, or you can record via Zoom. You do not have to have your face on it if you do that. That discusses and analyzes the story. You can also use, Jenny says hi. You can use music or other audio clips in the course of your podcast. I've had kids before who have like introed with some creepy music, or like have kind of taken on different personalities if they're doing it in pairs, like doing it sort of like a radio show. So there've been some fun ones in the past. So some questions that you might want to address through the course of your podcast are, you should give us a brief summary. And I do say brief because you don't want to spend the whole time just talking about what happens in the story. Tell us about the protagonist and antagonist. Talk about the theme, and you guys can, like, if you're working with another person, you can disagree on the theme. What's the main conflict and how is it solved? How does setting create or affect mood? Any symbolism? Poe is pretty heavy-handed with symbolism sometimes. Is the narrator reliable? I love a good unreliable narrator, and I can't wait for one of the things that we'll read in the spring with one of my favorite / least favorite unreliable narrators. How is it a good example of romanticism or Gothic literature? What did you like or not like? This is not like an academic essay, so you can absolutely be creative and talk about your own opinions. Are there any parallels you can draw to events in America around the time the story was written, or even now? Like, one thing that I really liked with those of you who were in my class last year, when we did Animal Farm, I thought it was really cool that it was obviously written about the Russian Revolution, but as we read, you guys made so many parallels to other like political or social events or situations, especially current ones. I thought that was really cool and just kind of showed like how and why that book's sort of timeless. So you could do a similar thing with this, like how do you see more modern ideas reflected in it? If you're working with another person, you should come up with at least a couple of discussion questions and ask them to each other. If you're working alone, you can propose a few discussion questions that you could use for a class of students who have read the story. You're not limited to just these questions or topics. You don't even have to do all of those. Just make sure that you're consistently giving good information, asking good questions, being analytical and creative. If you're working alone, your podcast should be at least 4 minutes long. If you're working as a pair, it should be at least 6 minutes. And the last thing is to be creative with your podcast. Feel free to be entertaining and funny. I know you all can be. And to really engage the audience that listens to your podcast. You can give it a title. You can write it a jingle. You can make up a slogan. Use funny voices if you want to, or adopt like an on-air personality. So for today, oh, that got tiny. So for today, what I want to do is, first of all, you guys can kind of talk amongst yourselves and figure out if any of you want to work in pairs. And try to start looking at the stories and seeing which ones you may want to do your podcast about. Because we're probably, like in the original assignment, it says that I don't want anybody to do the same ones. I don't necessarily care if you do the same ones this time, because we probably will not have the time to listen to any in class. Like, it'll just be me listening to them. We've like shared them together in class in previous years, but just doesn't make quite as much sense this time. So you can go ahead and start looking at the website that I linked to, start looking through some stories. And if you know what story you want to do, then go ahead and tell me. So your kind of goals for today are to let me know if you're going to work with somebody else and figure out your story. And also, if you did not turn in your discussion post yesterday and you want to be counted present for yesterday, to go back and do that. Any questions right now? Genesis, Randall wants to know if you want to work together.
You call me?
Yeah, Randall wants to know if you want to work together.
Oh, and Randall's on his phone because he's texting me, by the way. So.
Oh. Randall.
This is why you snitch on him like that.
He had talked to me since how long ago?
You sure you want to work with her?
Yeah, I don't know. This seemed like an untrustworthy partner. I'm not gonna lie.
Sure, I'll be his partner.
Okay. Jenny and Randall are going to work together. Cece and Alexis are going to work together. All right. And
So when is this due?
so this is not actually due until December 1st, which is the Tuesday we get back from Thanksgiving. So Monday, your only assignment really, you might have like one tiny little thing. But other than that, it's just to work on this. And I didn't want to make it due immediately when we get back, just because I don't want to force you to work over Thanksgiving. Like, obviously, if you are, like, if you're bored at home, or if you're like working with whoever, then you can work on it over break. But we'll have time Monday for you to ask questions or work on it together, and then it'll be due that Tuesday. Actually, never mind. We won't have time that Monday. I'm definitely getting ahead of you guys here, but Miss Kokel is going to come in and talk with y'all about some stuff the Monday we get back. So you'll have that Tuesday to kind of finish it up. The discussion post for yesterday will be locked. I mentioned that a second ago. You should still be able to see what it is, but you'll have to email me your responses. Can you tell Randall to stop cursing at me?
I'm right here.
Well, stop cursing at her. Okay, any questions right now about any of this?
Nope, I'm good.
Okay. If you want to leave and work on your own, you can. I will, or if you even want to leave and like Zoom with one of the other people, somebody that you're working with, you can do that. I will be here until the end of the class. but just let me know. You can mute yourself, turn your camera off if you are gonna stay.